All right, I think we're live once again, Bård.
Looks
And
like
welcome. Welcome to this session where we once again are going to follow Bård doing some stuff on his computer. And today we are going to talk about optimized product landing pages with structured data. So we've covered a bit about structured data before, but now we will also talk a bit about the benefits of actually having structured data in your e-commerce site or blog site. Doesn't matter. Structured data should be there. So what is structured data, Bård?
Yeah, I don't know. Could you tell me? No. So structured data, it's basically having some markup on your page, product page, or whatever web page we're talking about that describes semantically the content of the page. It could be, excuse me, ingredients, for example, that are listed on a recipe, so that you say this is a tomato, this is potato, etc. It could be products that are featured in an article or blog post, products that are mentioned, or the article itself, like what's the title, who's the author, etc. Or some of the things that we'll talk about today is the actual product landing pages. So information about the product, the prices, the variants, etc. So that is basically what structured data is. It's going from, let's say, just a layout of a product page where you have, pretty pictures, fonts, etc., but describing the contents semantically, which is good practice.
Good.
And then also you click a button, but also we can mention why we should use it. Because basically, if you look here at, I just did a search and then I get some products, and here I have a price, I have a description, I have a store URL, etc. This is example of a rich result of a product. So by providing this, Google will interpret the content and actually give you a better landing page. And why do you want that? Well, because it increases the conversion. More people are clicking on rich results versus not, because they see the price, they see it's a product, they go directly to a product landing page. So why? More traffic. That's summarized. We're going to use our one of our accelerators today as an example. This is it's a Next.js storefront built on top of Crystallize. We have a whole other stream showing how to get started with that, and also how to make it yours, as in customizing it. But if we're going to start from the top, right, what is rich results? And here's an example. This is the example provided by Google, where you have some sort of script. And I'm not a developer, Didrik. What does this mean?
Oh, that's basically just a script tag in the HTML, where you also define that this is JSON LD, which is the format of, the recommended format for structured data. There are other ways as well, but this is usually the way we do it as well. But one other common way to do it is that you use item scope and tag each HTML tag with the correct item scope. But yeah, so what you see here isn't JSON LD.
JSON LD. And when in doubt, ask the designer about coding.
Code.
Yeah, always. But here you see it's semantic. It's 120 calories, nutritional information. So it's very specific information. It's the that provides you the recipe with non-alcoholic pina colada. And then you have all of the detailed information about this. So you can go quite nerdy in terms of recipe instructions and all the details there. And that means that you can give the specific information directly to Google, so that they can display basically a cooking recipe preview in their search results, as an example. Or if you're selling shoes, like here, just stand out with getting the price and the properties that you provide. Now, to our example, we're going to use this landing page here where I have a product with some pretty pictures and dimensions. And for me to verify, which is the most important, right? You have a developer make the JSON LD for a product, an article, a recipe. We'll get back to the different types of schemas. And you just run it through rich results test. Cannot be simpler. It's just a URL to your product, in this case, that you provide. And then you get the information about what Google found on this page. So here we see that we have a product snippet, a merchant snippet, and a review snippet. So it's one product. And here we also have 5 shoppable variants. And then we have all of the detailed information here. There's some orange fields here, just optional fields. You can choose to make it as rich as you want, but most important is to have the mandatory fields, of course. And this is basically a verification that on this listing, we have the correct formatting of the JSON LD. Now, a product is, to me, quite obvious that we need to have the product information in a structured way. But what about if you change the scope to, let's say, a little bit more inspirational content? You know, how to make a pretty garden with, lots of storytelling. Maybe you have video content that are available just to inspire. Maybe you also have these types of shoppable images, a good storytelling approach to inspiring people to choose your products. And what we see here is that we both have the story and we also have some featured products. Here we can give a shout out to Daniel. Thanks for adding the add to basket button on the boilerplate. Because obviously here you can directly enable a shopping experience if you want, or add all products. So in this case, we're featuring the products that we would like to inspire people to buy. So this is a different type of page, right? This is not the product page. So the way to approach this is, first of all, here is the result, and we'll get back to how to approach it. Because basically we have, in this example, both defined the product snippets and merchant snippets and articles. So this is an actual article that is tied up with the headline, image, description, publishing date, etc. And also we have here the actual products that are featured. So this is a little bit more natural kind of landing page where you combine the storytelling, inspirational content, and the actual products that are listed there. So I think it's a good example of both how you can do storytelling as part of your e-commerce, and also how to structurally set up the JSON LD. You can check out the accelerator for the code. The most important for us here is how to test it. And rich result test is the one I'm always using. But you also have another from schema.org. And here you have an example where it's an article that is found. Here we have a product that is found, or 6 products with the structured data. So this is different validator. You do you and choose which you prefer. And the process is basically there is a site called schema.org, which basically defines, it's a standardized definition of things and other things, like a product, which is a thing, but an article is not the thing. It's anyhow, and here you have the definitions of all the properties that are available, like, for example, defining a brand, category, colors, country of origin. You can go quite in detail, GTIN, standard definitions of product identifiers, certification, if you want to have that. And also you can go into details of on the materials. You can go into quite nerdy level of defining details of the product. So there's a lot of optional fields that are available here. And then you have the required, which is the minimum ones. So this is, as you see from the product, there's a lot of properties that you can define, and the more you define, the better you describe your product, and then the more use cases Google and others have for automatic parsing of your data. And it's, of course, not just for products. There's a lot of other types, which is kind of a little bit sometimes the work to find what are the right properties. If I have a blog post or a landing page that features products, should it be an article? It's a if it's a recipe, for example, a cooking recipe, what should we choose? So that's a little bit the first thing that you need to figure out. What are the definition? Because you can define the thing at a high level, and then you have more fine grain as a product, as a subset of thing, for example. So that's when you get nerdy there. For typical pages like a product landing page and a little bit more either storytelling, like we have here, could be a category page, a product listing page, things like this, where you want to define all the products that are mentioned on the page, for example. So that's it. That is rich results for you. How you define it, how you find the schema, schema.org. Search for the schema that you're interested in, what it gives you, better listings and higher click-through rates, and of course how to test it with rich results, test from Google or schema.org validator.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. That's short and sweet. So, not a lot to talk about. There is some to do, and like the board said, one of the hardest parts basically is to classify what kind of scope you should define in your schema. But other than that, if you'd like to know more, we will probably do more on structured data and something else later on. Consider subscribing. That would be awesome. And on that note,